In today's video, we are headed to the farm. So mosey on over to your couch and sit back and enjoy all the rustic and primitive DIYs that I have in store for you. For my first project, I have these wood rounds that are incredible. They already have that bark on the back of them. They're very natural, very rustic, and I thought they would be perfect for this project. And I was so lucky because Sondra from Midwest Charm just sent these to me and they arrived last night. So I quickly got to work so that I could put them in today's video. I am going to paint all of the little pieces, all of these little wood rounds in Mineral, which is a Waverly chalk paint. For the larger ones, I am starting with, I think it's Titanium White, which is a Deco Art paint. It is also a matte finished chalk style paint. And I am going to paint 2 coats onto each of these, let it dry, and then come back and we will embellish them. Today's video is part of a collaboration hosted by Dawn at Shabby Meets Bling and Shelly from Repurposed My Way. It is Rustic Wednesday, but on Saturday. And our theme this month is on the farm. Another thing I did off camera before this step was I covered all of my wood rounds with a layer of Mod Podge matte and let it dry thoroughly before I came back to do this step. I'm now grabbing some random things that I have in my stash that all have a very farmhouse or rustic kind of theme, and I am going to be decoupaging them onto my rounds. Now, this one was a napkin, and I am going to be using my parchment paper and very, very slowly covering each edge of it with my heat press to have it kind of reactivate that Mod Podge and then adhere the napkin down. I do the same step with the other pieces of decoupage paper that I have, and one of the things that I love about this method is that when I am decoupaging, I do not have to wait afterwards for anything to dry. I can go right in and sand off any excess paper around the edges of my wood rounds. Here is a mini version of one of Roycycled decoupage papers. She puts them all together into this big sheet of decoupage paper, but it's a mini version of one of the larger ones. And I really loved it. It was perfect for this theme, but one of the challenges that I had is this shape, as well as the size of this little piece of paper, was not going to fit perfectly onto my round, so I had an idea for that. I used my artist brush to create a more distressed edge on the sides, and I will be decoupaging it into the middle of one of the larger rounds. For those smaller rounds that have been painted in Mineral by Waverly, I had some other leftover scraps of decoupage paper that I used to cover some of the rounds, and then I left a few of them as is and just distressed them back a little bit to give it a little bit more of a rustic vibe on the top. And for all of those pieces that I've just covered with decoupage paper, I will be sealing them. You can use the Mod Podge. I think I might have used the Deco Art decoupage matte just because I had already had it out, but any of those will work. You can also use liquid patina. Really just pick your favorite decoupage medium and use it. You can use it to seal your projects as well as for decoupage. Now I will be using the Antiquities Stamp by IOD, and I'm really excited because there are stamps within this set that I have never used, and I know that because when I tried to get them off of that backer sheet, it was very, very difficult, which means I have never pulled it off of that backer sheet before. I am going to be using any of the ones that have a farm animal or look farmhouse rustic-like, and I'm going to be stamping them onto my project. This is the one that had just some of that burlap kind of pattern on the back from with the decoupage paper. I used a little rooster for that one, and it looked very similar to what the other decoupage papers that I had on those other little ones. It looked very similar to those. Now for this next one, I'm going to be using this horse, and I'm going to need to just have a piece of it onto my little round. I'm obviously not going to be able to fit all of it there. For the last 2 rounds, I used this other rooster that was part of that Antiquities Stamp set by IOD, and this is the one that says Coco Vin, and honestly, I wish I had used this on all of the small wood rounds after I saw how amazing it looked on these ones. So I did end up using this on the last 2, but again, I wish I had used it for all of them. For the 2 rounds that I had done with just that white little scrap piece that I had left over of that decoupage paper, I felt like it needed something else, especially to help blend in some of that decoupage paper. You can't tell on camera, but I could see it in person. And so I just added some distressed ink with some IOD stone gray ink. I also felt that that rooster decoupage napkin had a little bit too much white and too much open space. So in order to fill that in, I ended up using the Crackle stamp by IOD. I love that I can pull those stamps off and kind of get an idea of what it would look like with that backer sheet. For this one, I decided to use China Blue, which is another IOD permanent ink, and I am going to be stamping it around the rooster. Now, this was definitely a little bit more challenging to make sure I didn't get any of the ink onto the rooster, so I pulled my stamp off of that backer sheet and then very slowly went right around where the rooster was and filled in those little white spaces. For the final step in this project, I grabbed some Fusion Antiquing glaze, and I am going to be covering the tops and then the sides of that little wood round for each of them with this glaze. I let it sit for a little bit and then I will dab off the excess. I will say that around the edges, because that was raw wood, I watered down the antiquing glaze a bit and I used that around the edges. I did not wipe that back. It was a very rough raw wood on the side, and so wiping it back wasn't really even, I guess, possible, and that antiquing glaze soaks right into that raw wood. In my last video, I mixed together this texture additive, which is very similar to salt wash or even using baking soda. I mixed it together with Everett by Fusion to create a textured paint that I used to kind of base coat a variety of different things that I had sitting around. Here is one of those things. This is a wood shovel that I had cut out using my laser cutter. It is about 1/4 inch thick, and now I'm going to be doing a very heavy dry brush with the Putty by Fusion. Now both the Putty as well as this Everett, which is base coated on this shovel, are all-in-one mineral paints. This means that they do not need to be sealed afterwards, as they already have been sealed. But it also means that I will not be able to wet distress when I'm done. That's why I'm doing a dry brush to allow some of that Everett to peek through. I let this dry. I only needed 1 coat, and then I used a stamp from the Crockery Stamp set by IOD, and here's a look at this finished project. I embellished it with some twine and greenery. I also grabbed this large tag that I had cut out and used the rooster from the Mercantile Stamp set by IOD. For the rooster, I did add antiquing glaze, but I didn't for the shovel, and you can see the difference that you achieve in color with those 2 finishes. I have this round cutting board. It is made of bamboo, and this is one that I got in a bundle off of Amazon, so it is not necessarily like a thrifted item or anything, but I felt like it was a good price for the deal that I got. I absolutely love upcycling breadboards, and I just am still working on learning how to cut them out myself. For this breadboard specifically, I am going to give it 1 coat of this milk paint. This is Sweet Pickins in the color Suitcase, and I'm going to give the back and the front 1 coat of this, but I will be heading outside to my sander to sand back a good amount of it because I do want that color underneath to peek through. Here is that breadboard sanded down, and you can see it has the really nice color that comes through. I felt like it gave it the rustic touch that I'm looking for today's video. I'm now going to be using a couple of the stamps from the Mercantile Stamp set by IOD. This is the text that says quality grains. So I positioned it so that the word quality went across the top just under where that rim is on my board, and then at the bottom I have grains. I am using my IOD black ink. It isn't an archival ink stamp pad, but it is actually IOD black ink. I did end up adding some ink to that pad, and so I had to kind of pre-stamp it somewhere else to make sure it wasn't too juicy on this board. Once I have that laid down, I keep my hand on one side while I press down on the other and then switch sides, and here is the first part of our little design. I did bring my heat gun in to kind of heat set it, mainly because there was still quite a bit of ink on there that was wet. Now I'm going to be using the masks that come with the stamp set to cover those two words, because I'm going to stamp something else in the middle here, and it is a little bit bigger than the space that I have available, so I have those masks on the words. This is a rooster. The face on this rooster is hilarious in my opinion, and when I first saw it I was a little scared of it, but I am using it in today's project and I don't know if I've ever used it before. This is from La Campagna stamp set, which is also by IOD, and it is a very angry rooster, but in today's video it's going to be the embellishment of the sign I wanted to create, which kind of looks like a product that you would get. I wanted it to really have that kind of feel to it. So once I have it laid down, I use that same ink pad and then I pull it back, and you will see that in the places where the mask was, there is no stamp from the rooster. Now I might have been a little cautious, but I did want to make sure that there was no way that I would mess up the ink, because I told you it was a little bit juicier than what I'm typically used to when I work on this. But once it was completely set, I came back in the next day and I'm using some tung oil, which is a Sweet Pickens brand, and I'm going to be using it to seal this piece. Now, my original plan here was to have this still be a food safe breadboard, which I guess the back of it still is, but because I use that ink on the front, it is no longer food safe on this side. So this side would be to really decorate with, and then the flip side would be something that you could use as a food safe board if you wanted to. For my final project today, I will be using a drop cloth. I want to make a pillow out of this drop cloth. I don't know if you can tell because I usually craft on drop cloth, but there is a piece cut out and I have it folded in half, ready to kind of outline what I think this pillow that I'm creating is going to look like. And I'm going to start by stamping it with this adorable sheep from the Farm Animal stamp set by IOD. I did make a quick last minute decision before I stamped my beautiful sheep to flip the drop cloth around so that the edge that's already kind of finished is on top. I wasn't exactly sure at this point in the project how I was going to bring everything together or if I wanted it to kind of be shaggy, but I figured if I did decide not to make it shaggy on the edges, that finished piece would be on the top of the pillow. Now I've stamped it down. I'm pressing harder and using much juicier ink, this is what made me think of that, to stamp this stamp so that it makes a good impression in the drop cloth. You will have to press harder and use a bit more ink when you are stamping on fabric. Now I'm going to use that wreath that is on the stamp set from Mercantile, and what I did was, instead of removing that specific stamp, I actually removed everything else from this backer just because I think that this would be a lot harder to position onto a separate piece, so it's much easier to just use that, and it's much easier to remove all of the stamps that are smaller. I'm going to stamp it with this same ink that I used for that sheep, making sure that I have a good amount of ink across all of this stamp. The one challenge I had was because I did not remove it from that backer, which has kind of the design on it, I was having a hard time figuring out what parts of the stamp I had already covered with the ink and which ones I hadn't. So that was the downside to this, but overall it worked out and I was able to position it and center it around the little sheep. Once that was done, I took the sheet of drop cloth that I had and I actually flipped it around and folded it so that the stamp that I just made is on the inside so that I could glue down the bottom part. So this is the part that I told you was a little bit shaggy on the bottom and I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I decided to have my hot glue run on the inside of it, so when I flipped it around, it would almost look like it had been sewed together. I'm going to use my hot glue and my little rubber finger cuff so that I don't burn myself, and slowly work my way across the bottom edge and the side that is not together at this time. Once that was done, I grabbed my pillowcase and I am flipping it over to reveal the stamp that I had made, or the impression I had made with that stamp. And I'm going to be kind of poking through to the edges to make sure all of the corners come all the way out. And that bottom looks like it has been sewn. Like, I love this concept of a no-sew pillowcase. I'm pretty impressed. There was a couple parts that I had to fix. I also had to snip off a little piece of string that had come through on the side, but that was fine. This is my first time doing it, so it's not perfect, but I'm pretty proud of it so far. As I mentioned, this is my first time doing this. I ordered this polyfill off of Amazon, and I am really just trying to make sure that when I stuff it, it is even. There's no like lumps or bumps anywhere. I wasn't exactly sure how full to make it, so it might be not as full as it should be. You'll have to let me know if there's any specific like tricks or ideas that you have on determining how full to make your pillow before you close it up. Any suggestions you have on, and any feedback you have on any of this would be lovely, because I really enjoyed doing this, but I'm sure there's some things that I could do to get better. I finish up stuffing it, and then I'm going to get my hot glue and seal it up so that those edges are on the outside and it looks very much like I sewed it together to a perfect finish. I did hot glue a little bit of twine that has some greenery wrapped around inside, and just a cute little bow at the front. I love this. A huge thank you to Shelly from Repurpose My Way and Dawn at Chabby Meets Bling for this amazing collaboration. It has inspired me. It has gotten me out of my creative funk. Make sure to check out this playlist so you can get some more inspiration. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you very soon.